secrets and forbidden bliss. Can't stay still, don't stop that thrill. My bones crave your skin, temptation within. Mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Their points. My name is Natalie. I'm going to be your host over the course of the next 4 days, and along to the panel, as usual, we've got Husky and Arthur. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Yay, it's the last day of the regular season.
This is not a yay moment.
No.
I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.
Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. sweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.
actually feel it?
Yep. They got 2-0 by Neon, but you can see that they were just trying out their own style. They were not conforming to what the meta is, and I still think that even though the fate of like New Esports and Boom Esports and possibly Reality Rift lies in their own hands, lies in other people's hands, after their matches, as long as ADROIT doesn't have a breakout performance, I think these teams are still safe.
Yeah, and I think last week was the best time for to try out stuff, but now into this week, if you look at the 5th place, 9 points, they're just 2 points away from T1.
Yeah, it's
from breaking out T1, so it's going to be really hard. I think this is a week that you don't want to try anything else. You want to go for your best draft.
Yeah.
You're going to go for your best pick.
Speaking of draft, the draft is ready, so let's hop in and see what heroes are going to be making their appearance. I think it's very true, right? It's time to try hard, and I can see ADROIT, they've already started up with opening with an Earth Spirit.
This is Boomy's best hero. I think a lot of the casters, Lyrical or Fog, they have been saying you don't want to give Boomy the Earth Spirit. This is a world-class level of Earth Spirit.
Yeah, and it's also a steal as well because Neon, they played the Earth Spirit mid, they played the Earth Spirit support, they snatched that away immediately, so you kind of deny one of Neon Esports' strongest pick from, but I don't think they're going to care too much. They have the Ember Spirit and the Tiny, Play Hard Tiny in the house. Yopaj Tiny, yeah. Again, another flex pick that Neon Esports. You might see another Play Hard Ember as well. So this is both teams starting with their comfort heroes.
I don't think we've seen anyone else play the Ember for Neon, right? I don't think we've seen Yopaj. Have we seen Yopaj play Ember?
Not really. Most of the time he'll be playing Tiny and Ember will be Play Hard. But of course this hero, they both can flex between 4 and 2. Yeah. So it's gonna highly depends on who are they playing against from ADROIT mid.
The mid matchup.
But the thing is, both of them are melee heroes. So if you talk about flex value there for the mid lane, it's not really that great if you think about it.
Yeah. As for ADROIT though, their second pick was the Enchantress. Now, I want to hear your opinions on the Enchantress, because so far it hasn't been that great, but how do you feel ADROIT handle the Enchantress in their matches?
I think CML has been a fan of playing micro heroes. Most of the time he plays Chance, so a lot of time we look at Enchantress, we always say that the best way to play her is to summon the creeps and then dominate a lane. I think this is what CML does the best. So if there's one team that can handle and do well with Enchantress, I think it's ADROIT.
Yeah, I think Neon Esports, they are also no strangers to micro. They played Chen in 3 different positions, and all of those games worked out in their favor. So I think against Enchantress, this should be another day for Neon Esports. They should have an idea on how to deal with it. Yeah. Chen is still up. You might see Neon Esports pick that up against this Eng.
Surprise! Because ADROIT now, they are banning 3 cores. They are not giving any respect to the Chen so far.
Maybe they want the Chen.
Maybe they want to. Maybe they're daring Neon to pick the Chen as well.
Yeah, maybe that could be. Unless Neon don't want to pick up the Chen. I guess it depends as well. But instead, we're going to be seeing Skem's Terrorblade. This is very, very, very early for a Terrorblade pick.
Yep. This is the second time that Terrorblade was picked this early in. TNC Predator was the first one who showed us how to play Terrorblade, how to first face Terrorblade. They lost that game against New Esports, but Terrorblade in general has a high win rate in this regular season so far.
Now I want to see a Venge TV. We all know that Neon, General, he loves to play this position 5 that has a lot of save. So I think Venge is one hero that suits him the best. And ADROIT, they've already showed 2 supports here. So if you want to steal the Venge from Neon, you have to put him in either mid or the off lane.
Unless ADROIT pulls out a Earth Spirit mid. Then that could be the surprise.
That's what I was wondering as well, because we've seen Earth Spirit mid and it can do quite a lot, but okay, we've got PL for ADROIT. Alright, both teams have picked up their cores. Alright, next.
I think this feels like a throwback to 2018. You remember KL Major that we have had?
The TB
versus
PL, the classic. You just see a bunch of illusions hitting each other. Only 2 teams have played Earth Spirit mid so far, as far as I remember. First one was definitely Neon Esports, and then after that Armel also played Earth Spirit mid last week. I think it was against RR in game 2. So maybe ADROIT could pull out something different. Speaking about general liking supports that have saves, Oracle is one. hero has not played it just yet. Oh, they bring out the partner. It's about time we see this from Neon Esports.
You guys weren't kidding when you said we're going to be looking at some try-hard Dota this week.
Yeah, I've been anxiously waiting.
Darkseer, whoa!
Yes.
Wow.
I've been anxiously waiting for Neon to whip out the Jano Oracle or maybe a partner, because they do run the partner as support as well. This is one of their, I would say, the pocket picks, the picks that if you play a lead long enough, it will eventually come out. And I'm happy to see this from Neon, but Darkseer, the first time ever we won this regular season.
What did we say? We all say that this week is going to be the most exciting week, and finally Darkseer hasn't seen any light so far, and finally make it through.
And looking at how the Darkseer sort of fits in for ADROIT's lineup, you've got two great heroes that can hold the Ion Shell. You've got the Terrorblade that has to be worried about the wall, because let's be real, Terrorblade's afraid of his own illusions. They're very painful. But also not just that though. There's a lot of flexibility for ADROIT, right? You're looking at these heroes. Of course, Darkseer goes to off lane, PL goes into the safe lane, but you don't know where the Enchantress or the Earth Spirit's going to go.
Yep. And guess what? Oracle banned by ADROIT. They are still afraid of that Jano Oracle for the TB.
One thing I want to mention is that Darkseer, this pick entirely changes the dynamic of this game, because right now there are so many ways for you to play against TB. Once you pop meta, you have Surge to get out, you have the Doppelganger to get out, you can even roll out. So there's a lot of way for ADROIT to cut out the Metamorphosis. Or another approach is to just fight him with the wall.
Yeah, you just drop the wall. He doesn't want to get caught. Like that illusion from the wall replica will actually kill the TB himself.
Yeah.
Is I actually watched a clip yesterday, which is the same scenario. Darkseer drops wall replica, catches TB, the illusion wins the game.
Yeah.
So this could be the same thing that I saw on YouTube. Hopefully I get to see that spectacle once more.
Also, with this pick, ADROIT takes full control right now in team fights, in how to determine their team fights to take out. I think it's a very beautiful pick.
Yeah. So how do you sort of counter this if you're Neon? Because now you have to worry about the Darkseer, you need hard lockdown, otherwise Surge becomes an issue, but then you also need some kind of counter initiation if the team gets caught out in a wall.
You need to punish Darkseer early on. He's a really greedy hero. He likes to cut waves, he Ion Shell runs at you, dominate the lane with the Ion Shell. But one thing he's not good at is if you punish him, he doesn't get farm, then he doesn't provide anything. He goes in, he drops a wall, and he dies. He wants to, because Darkseer usually go for like your Mag, your Vlast, your Greaves, and just stay in the fight for as long as possible. But if you cripple him early on, he won't be able to do that, and ADROIT suddenly just loses that frontliner.
There are two ways for you to punish Darkseer really hard in the lane. First one is of course Oracle with the Purge to remove the Iron Shell. Second one is get Chen, get the Purge creep, and constantly follow the Darkseer to remove his Iron Shell. And you know what? Chen is still in the pool. Chen is Neon Esports' best hero right now.
Yeah, another way is you use heroes that have cheap poke, like your Jakiro, your Disruptor, any hero, especially Disruptor, you can always glimpse Darkseer back if you try to surge away. Your poke is always good against the Darkseer. He just doesn't want to constantly take damage from you because he's already tanking creeps, right? So those damage are extra. Back in the old days when you can build Stout Shield on Darkseer, he's a super good pick, but right now he's just easier to punish if you can constantly deal damage over time.
Yeah. So looking for our last picks, and it seems like offlaners are going to be some of the priority bans here. Also, I think maybe Neon... Why would Neon ban the Pango? So who would be handling the Pango for ADROIT? Is this possibly a mid Pango? Oh, the Doom! Is this to discourage a potential 10? There's Enchantress and Doom on the same team.
I mean, it could be, because the Doom is always good. The Doom is good against all heroes, let's be real. But even without the Chan, the TB has a lot of things he has to worry about. He has this Doom, he already has the Darkseer that he has to kind of be concerned in a fight. And now you have this Doom that could potentially be a Doom mid for ADROIT.
Yeah. I think if we think 2 steps forward, right? Now, if you look at ADROIT's draft, they have the Darkseer to anti-TB. So they know that Neon Esports is going to pick another winning condition for themselves, because they cannot just totally rely on TB to carry the game. So they will pick another winning conditions. So ADROIT responded with a Doom. Yeah. So right now, all the Doom has to do is to Doom another winning condition of Neon, and let the Darkseer deal with the TB. And right now, with this, they eliminate 2 winning conditions from Neon Esports.
And we've seen Doom started by TNC. RML was the first one to pick up the Doom, and it has kind of spilled through into the final weeks of this regular season.
Yeah.
RML picked it, and afterwards I think Moon picked it as well. No, Ice has picked the Doom when they played against New Esports last week, and now this is the third Doom pick for ADROIT.
Yep. Last pick up here for Neon. Now, what kind of boxes are they going to have to tick here? What are they lacking?
They still need a secondary win condition that naturally buys Lincoln Sphere.
They have no front line as well, so no one to soak up the initial.
There's a disruptor.
There you go, Disruptor.
All right.
So that's possibly to deal with the Darkseer in late, then, is it?
And also good against PL, but they don't have front line. I think ADROIT has a lot of way to just run over Neon in this game.
I feel like this is definitely going to be like a it could be an off-lane partner. They could run this core partner.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of times Rappi love to play these backline heroes, right? On especially on off lane.
Yeah, core partner, Yopash Tiny, Scam, TB. This is all about punishing the early game from ADROIT.
But if Neon able to come on top after their laning phase, they have great ways to snowball this game. They can always rely on TB's pushing power as long as partner. And then, of course, we all know that Disruptor is great when we are playing ahead because you are so good in punishing.
Yeah, actually, all these heroes are good at punishing the Darkseer early on. They just need to kind of really lay it into this Darkseer and make sure that he doesn't come online, because you already have a Doom who is a strong laner to worry about. And if this Darkseer gets his laning phase, you're going to run into a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Predictions. That's the tough one now, since we're looking at a pretty crazy match.
Honestly, ask me purely from draft, I think ADROIT has a very well-rounded draft. But Neon, if they could come out on top of laning phase, they can go unstoppable. It's tough. I'll wait for you.
I have to be I still think, judging from the performance we've seen for the past 3 weeks, I am going with Neon for game 1.
Neon?
Let's see how they can overcome this draft, because I really think that ADROIT they put out a really robust draft, but I'm pretty sure Neon has a way to deal with it.
I'll go with ADROIT. I think they really have a solid draft, and I believe in them. I'm a big believer in drafting. That's why most of my predictions are wrong, because whenever you go into game, the execution is totally the otherwise.
Let's jump into the first match of the day. I hope you've never joined a competitive team before. That's a horrible mindset. What's wrong with you?
I mean, most of the time I think one side has a really good draft and they just played otherwise. They just get out executed or anything like that.
I hope you're not drafting for your team. Oh goodness. Alright, so
Actually, that's good, right? If I do the draft and then someone else plays it, so I don't get to execute it.
I don't think that fixes the issue. Alrighty, so we're in the match here. It looks like we've just got some connection issues. So
Yeah, it seems like the players are super happy. We saw a lot of ha 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 in capitals, in cap
I
locks.
hope so. I hope they're happy. I know these are very high stake matches for them now, because we know that they need to grab these points, that anyone that lands in 9th position at the end of the round robin group stage, they're done and dusted, right? Their journey is over. That's the hard reality. But let's take a look and see who is playing what. Yopaj is actually going to be playing the Ember Spirit. This is a brand new one for us, because we've only seen him play more defensive / utility oriented mids. Now he's taking the reins of an Ember.
Yeah. Also, Playhard is on his tiny. I think this is one of the most exciting post-war that you have to look out for in this entire league. I think Playhard has been delivering really hard. And of course, Yopaj. We are going to see another approach of Yopaj. Most of the time, like you say, he's the backline utility guy. But Ember Spirit is another totally different kind of mid hero.
Yeah. He's not the same as his green brother, right? Earth Spirit he's completely different to the Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit wants to be in your face. He wants to grab those kills, whereas Earth Spirit sets up for the team, right? Comes in with the magnetize, causes a lot of chaos, and hopefully that chaos is what brings your team that victory, just to be able to lock down those targets.
Yeah, this is a really tough game for Ember Spirit. I think you are facing a lot of spells that can shut you down really quick. Silence from a Spirit, Doom as well, and also you don't want to get caught in all of PL illusions. It burns out your mana instantly. So Yopaj has got a really big challenge in this game.
Yeah. Something I find really interesting as well between ADROIT and Neon is that I find Boomy and Playhard to be very similar in terms of play style. They have very similar hero pools. Of course, they've got a couple differences, but a very aggressive position fours. They love to roam. They love to go for those kills. I want to see who's going to be able to be more aggressive. It looks like we've got some aggression here onto ADROIT. Bok did get tossed back by Playhard and is still chasing that Darkseer. Like you said, they're trying to already apply pressure to the Darkseer.
Yeah, but Boomy has a really good 3-man shoulder smash.
Toss back, and that should be first blood. Oh, that Disruptor Tiny combo, so deadly.
I think one big thing about this patch is that teams are starting to run a lot of offensive tri-lane. Because back then, if you run an offensive tri, you are going to lose out so much on experience. But because this patch, there's so much changes to gold and XP, it gives you more reward. So there's more incentive for teams to run a defensive tri-lane, because it's not only secure your safe lane, your carry, the good lane, also it rewards your support for going for all the kills.
Yep. So we're going to be seeing a Doom versus Ember matchup. Mac going to be handling that Doom, and so far he's doing all right. He's still tied up. It would be interesting to see how Ember fares against a Doom in lane, if it's Ember favored or if Doom is able to hold his own, because at the end of the day, you just want that Doom to farm up. He doesn't need to win the lane because he can always go back to the jungle to devour, and his goal is to just Doom people.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think anyone should die from this matchup unless one gets really aggressive and someone just roam this lane. I'm actually waiting for ADROIT to decide whether he wants to make a move to the mid lane, because even if he wants, Doom is not exactly the best partner for you to get a kill.
Yeah.
So I think we are going to see a very stagnant lane in this game.
Yeah. It'll be really surprising if they maybe don't even attempt it. I think for Neon, it's probably easier, right, when it comes to ganking, because you've got the Tiny, you can toss back the Doom onto the Ember Spirit, maybe get some tower damage in, but even then, I don't know if those two are able to grab that kill. Got a dual lane matchup up here. We've got Pugna going up against the PL lane. Of course, the supports are here as well, but we know Pugna is a very squishy hero and doesn't really have any kind of lockdown. Looks like Playhard gonna have to try and go for a toss back, but it looks like they're gonna lose that Tiny. No, they don't have the damage. Just looks out scot-free.
Yeah, unfortunately, Nasumi didn't have mana for his Spirit Lines, otherwise he stayed there. You just said that it all comes down to the post-4 of both teams, but it's very hard for Playhard to make a rotation, because PL and Enchantress can always punish the Pugna whenever the Tiny is away. So that's one thing that's limiting the Tiny from roaming around. I think the most active timing is at 4 minutes, when both of the supports going for the power rune. That's the time where this early game is going to get excited. But until then, we are just going to see a farming game.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the tough lane, the Darkseer lane, because we can already see from the last hits in the night, Darkseer, he's only sitting at 4 CS in the Terrorblade lane. Now, you did emphasize that Darkseer needs to be shut down if Neon's going to have a good chance coming into that mid game. But how's the matchup in general, a Terrorblade versus Darkseer? Is it supposed to be this heavily in favor of the Terrorblade, or do you think maybe they just didn't really have the best partners to ensure that you're going to get that Darkseer farm?
I think a lot comes down to the support that TB is having. Like what Husky has mentioned a lot of times in the draft, like Disruptor is really good against the Darkseer, not only because in the mid game you have the gleams, but in the early game you can constantly throw out this Thunder Strike to harass the Darkseer. And Darkseer is one hero that you want to constantly be spamming Clarity on. So the Thunder Strike is going to limit Darkseer from doing so.
Yeah.
And of course, because the lane is always going to be pushed into the side of Terrorblade, right? Because of the Iron Shell, so TB has got a very good base damage for him to last hit under tower. So I'm not surprised that he's getting so much CS right now.
Yeah. Looks like they managed to find Boomy on his Earth Spirit. Just going to throw some pressure there onto Scam. But this has to be a tough lane, because historically speaking, a lot of teams would look up to that Earth Spirit Darkseer combo, right? It's similar to the Spirit Breaker combo, where you throw the Iron Shell onto the Earth Spirit, you roll in, you punish the supports, but that's not possible here.
Yeah, not really. Because every time you want to advance your position, you are going to get stopped by the kinetic field by Darkseer. And since Terrorblade has also gotten a first blood, he has gotten one extra brave band for the lane. So that increases your armor right now. It allows you to tank up a lot of damage from the creeps as well. But meanwhile, Playhard got a solo kill on CML here, and Nasumi is also getting a lot of trouble from Cypher.
Man, Rappy's doing a lot of damage to that. He's got to be careful there. Looks like the Centaur from the Enchantress is going to come in and pressure that Pugna. But the Pugda lane seems to be going really well for Neon. Of course, they're not completely shutting down the PL, but they are forcing him under the tower, getting him that extra regen, and of course we know Play Hard just sitting in the jungle like this, constantly being a threat.
Yeah, I think Nasumi is secretly happy that CML died there because now ML can come back for South, so he's back to full HP again, he's playing under his tower. I think he's pretty happy about this. And like, besides the fact that he's...
Oh, your badge comes in with the snipe. That's pretty big too for the Ember Spirit. You want to grab as much as you can, especially with how they buffed up that gold damage that you get from kills now. So it's much more worth it to try and roam around and grab those little kills.
Yeah, definitely. Like, if this is the last patch, Doom is gonna be so happy just sitting at the lane and farming NCs after that. But now you have to be worried if your counterpart mid is making a lot of moves and you are not. You are going to be having a big trouble.
Right, we've got a rotation mid, but how are they going to initiate this Yopaj coming forward? They've got the Avalanche, they've also got the Thunder Strike as well. Toss back onto that Doom. Kinetic Field thrown down by Janual. I don't think he has Glimpse, but will they be able to get back? It seems it's too fast. He does have Glimpse. Do they have the damage to kill off that Doom? He's so tanky with the Scorched Earth, and he will just get out of there. Oh no, they didn't have enough damage.
The ice armor too that he got, that was a big changer. Otherwise he would have died. But one thing that surprised me is that where is the supports coming from ADROIT? There's no TP whatsoever.
I mean, he was fine. Maybe he doesn't need support.
Yeah, maybe he's just like, you guys chill.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine here. They're throwing 3-man onto me, jokes on them. They are not going to have enough damage to kill me. And there's no chain from Ember Spirit as well, so no lockdown from Mac.
Yep. That's so unfortunate though. They did commit the supports to come in, but it looks like they've actually found CML there with the Ember. But in the meantime, they've managed to pick up a kill onto Natsume.
Oh, that's surprising.
That usually isn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way for PL to die if he has his doppelganger. Maybe he used that offensively on the Pugna and then he get caught off guard by Tiny. But this is gonna set up PB really fast in this game because look at that net worth difference. There's like almost 1k differences between them, and we all know that Terribly is going to outskill PL with all the illusions.
We're already starting to see some issues that the Darkseer could have potentially had, because if you look at Box net worth, he is very far down. He's actually almost the same net worth as the Tiny, just a little over, but this is supposed to be Box playing such a big role this game, right? He's got to be the initiator, is also going to be a potential counter-initiator. He has to be there to back up the team with the utility items. He has to hit those timings. But how are you going to hit your timings when you're in a Terrorblade lane and you're not keeping up with farm now? He can't afford to sit in the jungle for the next 10-15 minutes to finish up his defensive items.
Yeah, that's true. Because most of the time you want to play Darkseer and you want to be snowballing with this hero. But I have another view this game. Just because he's playing specifically against the TB, you know that your biggest value... Okay, never mind.
way of catching this roly-poly tiny.
Yeah, Wind Lace plus Tranquil Build. This guy really move really fast. It's not like a rock anymore.
Oh my goodness.
However, I do think Doom, he probably has to start considering getting some of spells from creeps. Because Ice Armor right now is not enough for him to... He doesn't want to sustain, he wants to fight. So he probably wants to get something like a Wall Storm or like a Troll Net, or even a Purge is really good as well in purging off the Flame Guard from Ember Spirit. Some kind of offensive element right here for them to stop.
We'll see if he gets lucky first as well, right? Because when it comes to getting those skills, you got to rely on the RNG for the creeps as well.
That is true.
So we'll see what he gets. He's managed to find the Centaur. Does he? Actually, Bow's on cooldown, so he won't be able to take. Looks like he's going to save it. So have to go for this for now until he gets something else. But it looks like they've managed to find Darkseer. There goes Bok yet again. This Darkseer is getting heavily shut down.
Now that's the awkward thing about Darkseer. If you don't play ahead, if you don't want to be mediocre, because if you're not having a good lane, you are just going to take away so much resources from your core, and you have a big you are facing a big chance of dying as well. So you are literally like farm everything and then give it all the way to your opponent.
And it almost felt like ADROIT kind of weren't prepared for the Darkseer pick as well, because back when Darkseer was a more common pickup, it was very common for supports to stack for the Darkseer, right? So that even if he had a really bad lane, he'll be able to go into the jungle, throw on the Ion Shell, and farm the jungle that way. But they haven't really loaded up the jungle with any creeps for him at all, so he's really playing catch-up. And with the Darkseer playing catch-up, basically playing 4 versus 5, but then they've also got the PL, so playing 3 versus 5.
Yeah,
exactly. 3 versus 4 because it's a Terrorblade, but again, the numbers are just not in their favor, and it looks like, again, they're gonna get this Darkseer.
Wow, Genoa is really doing a good job in shadowing the Darkseer. He's constantly going to the lane, the Darkseer shows up, and then his Gleam is so great in catching the Darkseer as well. There's no way of getting away from Disruptor. This is the best way on the Disruptor. And CML is facing a little bit of trouble here. There's not enough damage.
Oh, they managed to come in with the Doom, and they will get it onto Yopaj. This should be a dead Emperor Spirit, but they've got the Terrorblade coming in as well. Skem, he's a fighting TB, he's not a farming TB. Really? Oh! Go down, but the turnaround there, the support from the team, Neon, they're a team fighting team.
Yeah, we know that Scam loves to get involved really early.
He reminds me of Gabby. Remember last week we saw Gabby playing
Anti-Mage?
Yeah, the anti-mage game. There's a lot of teamwork here for Neon.
Yeah, the droid must be super confusing because most of the time TB wants to spend his time in the engine. So a droid picked the other side for them to attack, but you know, guess what? TB is there. Surprise.
Oh goodness, this is not good at all for ADROIT. Luckily for them, the net worth isn't looking too bad, even though they've completely shut down this Darkseer. The difference between the two teams, it's just 1k gold. So they're not spiraling out of control yet. Natsume is farming and he hasn't been pressured outside of the laning stage, so this PL is well on his way to finishing up his items. But the thing is, when does Natsume want to fight? It looks like in the middle lane, they're going to try and go for that Doom. They will be able to glimpse him back. They should be able to get him to search. He is so fast, my goodness. The fight continues, so they throw down the wall. Terrorblade is here, but his illusion is killing him. Oh, Scam goes down to his own illusion. Oh, goodness, a huge loss for Neon. They're still chasing. Looks like Bok will just survive because Natsume comes in and kills that Tiny. And the Disruptor to boot. We're already starting to see what happens when a Terrorblade meets a wall.
Yeah, Bok is like, how you like that, man? It doesn't matter how many times you kill me. All I have to do is to place a good wall and catches the Terrorblade, and I'll let your own illusions deal with you.
Oh, CML, he sees the Ember Spirit. Looks like he's just putting vision down, so they're not going to go too deep for the Ember, but that was a big team fight win there for ADROIT, and now the net worth is in their favor. Yeah. Although a slight hit, but still a big deal.
I think that was the exact reason why I wasn't too worried about Bok, because his job is simple here, just to place a good wall. And right now, they're given a lot of time for Natsumi to climb back into the net worth chart. He has gotten a diffuser now. He's moving forward to a hood, so he's looking to engage into the fight early on. They want to be attacking Neon when TB doesn't have the mana of fixes.
Yeah, and PL's fantastic against the Tiny. Tiny typically has a lot of issues. He doesn't have a big mana pool, and Disruptor is horrible against a PL. He's got no way of clearing out the illusions. His Thunderstrike doesn't really do anything against a PL, so he's going to practically melt against Natsume. So, of course, there's going to be some issues here for Neon. How do they sort of deal with this PL as the game gets later and later? Because, of course, their win condition is that Terrorblade. But how do they sort of keep Natsume off the backline?
The one thing they have to do is the Disruptor needs to be really patient. He needs to wait for PL to show up and try to catch him with the Static Storm. If you don't connect your Static Storm onto the PL, that's very limited ways for Neon to do anything to shut down the PL. And once the game ball is getting punished, you see that very nice war from Neon that catches the vision of Bog trying to split push. But once again, you don't achieve too much by killing Bog again and again. Your biggest threat right now for Neon is the PL and the Doom as well.
Yeah, they haven't really been addressing Natsume at all. That was the first time they actually met that PL in a 5-on-5 engagement. So, of course, they're going to be worried. Oh, very quick fingers there from Yopaj.
Yeah, the thing is whenever a spirit roll, you can kind of hear the animation voice from him. So if you're cautious enough, you can always just preemptively press the remnant and get away from that.
Yeah. Gonna be very careful. Of course, Yopaj needs to continue farming. He's building up some farming items himself. He's got the Chain Lightning procs that can be very helpful for clearing out those illusions. Not only from the PL, but in case anyone on Neon creates illusions as well. We've got a way to slowly get rid of them. We've got some aggression here coming in from ADROIT, a 4-man gank, and they do have Doom available. They're going to lead with Boomy on his Earth Spirit. It's very crucial that he lands that roll. Oh, do they have vision? The Disruptor, he's a prime time. But I'm very sure they're looking for something bigger if they can. They're going to try and evade. Oh, they're going to see the Earth Spirits. That's going to completely ruin any kind of surprise element. That's just going to be an easy tower, it looks like, too. So no contest at all, unless they want to fight a little deeper in. Okay, they are going to lose Boomy. And the tower stands.
Is there any glimpse? Jano is really looking for one guy to glimpse back, but unfortunately they don't have any kind of vision. I think that's okay catch for Neon. Your TB is still farming, your Ember Spirit is farming as well. ADROIT is the one that has the sense of urgency for them to punish and to take any advanced action against Neon. Because like we say in the draft, they have the control of this game. They are the one determining how the team fight should go, but so far they hasn't been finding a lot of openings for that. I think point is because Bog is constantly dying, getting punished at the side lanes. So every time they have to wait for Bog to revive, to respond, and then they have to deal with the creep wave as well. So openings for them to do stuff.
There's a smoke. They're grouping up. I think they're waiting for the courier. There we go. So there's the smoke. They're going to keep farming with Natsume. But of course he is nearby, so if there is a engagement, I'm very sure the PL will be more than happy to join in.
TB is walking to a triangle now.
Yeah, big wraparound. They're going to run to the TB. Again, sees it. Playhard is nearby. That avalanche is huge. Is it going to be enough though? They do get the Doom off of Scam, and it looks like the Terrorblade should go down. Beautiful wall action. Well, there goes that Terrorblade. The Magnetize as well, doing huge amounts of work onto Neon. And look at this Doom, just chasing them down. The BKB preventing the avalanche from connecting. He just drained the Doom. It's 3 for 2 so far, and they're still fighting. They're still going. There's the buyback onto the Disruptor, so Glimpse will be a factor as well. Natsume has joined the fight. Yopaj is very low on mana, so it's going to be tough for him to try and remnant a fight. It looks like they will be able to get away.
Wait, they want to go in?
Yopaj, they don't have the ultimate there for the Disruptor. He's just got the Thunderstrike off the illusion. It looks like he's being zoned out by the PL. Oh, the Root!
Savage.
Oh, the Glimpse as well! Oh, big kills here. They're going to get blocked. No.
What a close one. CML is gonna, Natsumi is gonna be so regretting. Why did he want to be so greedy? That was such a big win for them. Taking down the TB, that was good enough for him already, but he thought that he's strong enough with the hood, so he wanted to go back in, especially Yopaj didn't have any mana left. but they got punished. They got
That
rude.
urgency that you're talking
Yes.
about, it seems like maybe it's a little bit too deep. That they really wanted to utilize that victory, but of course sometimes things happen. Looks like Yopaj will be going
He's
down.
gonna out.
Can he? Oh, they don't have enough disables. Oh, very close. They almost got it with the Earth Spirit. Oh, they're going to chase down that Earth Spirit, he says. Oh, no. Poor Boomy. Your dreams go, Boomy.
Oh, all right. Now they definitely sense the sense of urgency. They don't really want to push things too far ahead.
They're waiting for to come and see why they don't want to fight. Doom is their biggest spell. If they don't have the Doom, then they can't delete a hero, right? Because that's essentially what Doom does. You Doom somebody, you technically delete them. It does a
Yeah.
lot of damage. It's really, you can't do anything unless you heal through it.
Also, the hidden threat that we saw from the last fight is that even though you doom the TV, you don't really have lots of great locks down from ADROIT's Q to doom at that.
Oh dear. That's going to be
Alright.
a death block.
Did he just search himself and run on top of the hill without any vision?
I don't think...
That is called space
Yeah.
creation, I believe.
I know certain people call this tactical feeding.
Yep.
But yeah, that was pretty interesting. Maybe he thought he could just slip into the jungle and try and take that triangle of
Yeah,
farm.
I'm not-
But it seems like such a low reward, high risk play.
Exactly. Did he just search all the way on top of the hill to kill a couple of creeps?
It's hard to say.
Not too sure about that.
Well, I mean, he can't blame him too, because every time he farmed in his own jungle, he's just been consistently ganked. And then there's always the philosophy where if you keep getting ganked in your jungle, chances are if you farm in the enemy jungle, it's safer, because there's going to be no vision there. So maybe he was trying to apply the philosophy, but then he just got cut off. Wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, either way, I'm gonna die anyways, right? So I might as well just die on the enemy's jungle. So I actually buy some time from my PL to farm.
No, hopefully that's enough time for Natsumi to get his farm.
Interestingly, TB is not going for BKB. I think he's gonna be regretting a lot.
Does he
of
feel
his-
like he
his-
needs the BKB?
I know that his understanding is he's afraid of the Doom. So if you get Doom, having BKB doesn't help hit anyway. But the thing is, he's facing so many silence, all the mana reduction from PL's illusion as well. I think those are the threats that he has to be worrying about also.
Yep.
Another thing of having a BKB against Doom is that you can always preemptively pop your BKB so that it disencourages the Doom to put his ultimate on you, so he will go for another target. But then again, I think ADROIT has a lot of way to take down this TV fast without him having the BKB. So
The alternative to building BKB is tanking up, right? If you have so much HP, you can survive through the Doom duration and then maybe you turn the fight around. Is
Yeah.
that another option that they could potentially look at?
yeah, that's true.
So what would the item be then if they wanted to go for that route? Is it just typically an item that lets you tank but fight as well, or?
I think it's going for Sadaning and SNY. So it gives you the HP that you need. It also gives you stated resistance against the Doom. I think it's a good choice, but I'm just not a fan of it. Normally you go for that because your team has some kind of defensive heroes that can allow you to play a little bit to the edge, but they don't really have the kind of hero. You could argue Pugna is one, but the heal is not a burst heal for you. It takes time for you to heal up. So that's a bit of worry about me, from me.
Yeah. Got another smoke. ADROIT, the urgency is real. They want to try and take this game back into their own hands. They have fallen behind 3k in terms of net worth, but it's still a small gap. It's not too big because the majority of that net worth it is in the pockets of that Terrorblade. But of course, Yopaj and Rappy are also holding some pretty decent net worths themselves. It looks like they're landing. Oh no! Oh no! Here it comes, the train. The pain train is coming. There's no Doom. Beautiful wall back. They have flown the Doom, but are they able to turn this around? The magnetized damage is huge. The Doom is trying to set the front lines, but he's trying to TP as well. It's wasted BKB. He just dies, and now Yopaj is going to come back in and chase it. Here comes Natsumi on that PL. It's going to be hard. They've got the Avalanche as well. Stems come into the team fight. Remember, they don't have wall anymore, so this Terrorblade has free reign in the middle of these fights, and Natsumi, he's all alone. Box won't be able to do anything outside of a surge, and it looks like a big victory here for Neon. Big ultimates now on cooldown. The Doom is gone, the wall is down.
What a play by Yopash, the illusion bait.
Oh my goodness.
There's no way you could see them coming unless you spot that the Empress Blade had the illusion rune, but also the wall was perfect, right? But it didn't catch the TV, that's the point.
Look at Rappy. Oh, there's a glimpse. That's a big glimpse as well. That's going to be a kill onto the Enchantress. CML is down. And now they're going to continue fighting. They've got the vision on the Thunderstrike. They see where the Doom is. Terrorblade is still running. Rappy force-staffing himself to try and get out of there. They will lose play hard in the process. Rappy's still there, going to go for a life drain onto the Enchantress. Is taking a lot of health there. Run out of mana though. This PL and his illusions are going all sorts of crazy. But the Emperor Spirit zoning out ADROIT. It's really tough coming into this. Yep, they throw the Sunder down. Skem is low on HP. Looks like Rappy is out of mana. Still running away from Natsume. Big glimpse onto Boomy, so he's not going to be able to assist that PL. He's still running. The Great Escape. Rappy's still running, but it looks like they finally get that Pugna. Big kills going in the way of ADROIT. What a long engagement.
What a long engagement indeed. You see that when Pugna has no more mana, Natsume actually don't deal too much damage to him. But their biggest target, they wanted the Terrorblade. They are forcing team fights because Terrorblade ran out of Metamorphosis. But unfortunately, Rappy took all the attention away from the Terrorblade.
Now it's going to be Roshan time. This is a little scary because if you look at what Neon have, they've got fantastic Roche teamfight heroes. Static Storm can cover the entirety of the pit. Kinetic Field.
And Neon now has to be more disciplined in disengaging whenever meta is about to end.
That was something I was a bit concerned about because they decided to stick around when they wanted to disengage, right? Normally you disengage, you go back to your own jungle, but they stuck around and wanted to re-engage into a fight with the non-meta Terrorblade. It was very interesting.
And you have to give credit to Boomy as well. He's constantly throwing his body into stopping Neons, making sure that PL has a way to catch up to him. He's just disregarding his own life right now just to create these openings for his cores to come in.
I mean, he's doing his role, right? He has to be the one to go forward because you don't want to send your Doom in first because we've seen what happens when the Doom gets perma-stunned. He just gets cut down by that Terrorblade. So the plays are right. Maybe the stars are aligning, but there's a lot of buybacks available. Although there is a big buyback that isn't, and that's Skems. And we know that Skem is the major threat on the side of Neon. So maybe ADROIT would be able to do some permanent tower damage. If they can grab that mid T3, that'd be a very big deal.
Yeah, that's a little bit difficult though because the respawn time on Neon's heroes are not too long. And then I think by the time you hit tier 3 tower, they are about to up. And you have to be really careful because right now ADROIT don't have any of the ultimates up. You also are playing against Ember Spirit with Aghanim's, Disruptor with Gleams. So you need to be really, really patient right here for ADROIT. You don't want to be giving away your lead again just after winning a team fight.
Yep. Monkey King Bar is also coming up on that PL soon, so it seems like he is starting to feel the pain of that butterfly. Just wants to get the evasion. It was way too annoying for him, it seems.
One good thing is the bigger TB gets, the stronger the illusion gets as well.
Of course.
So right now, I think box choice is simple. Save out all your go for Blink Dagger. As long as you put out a good Wolf Replica, you can die.
Yeah. Looks like Natsume going to start chipping away at that tower with all of its illusions. They will at least be able to get it down to about 3/4 of its HP, so...
Repair kit though.
Oh, that's true. I thought they might want to save that for another fight, but... Oh well, just use it whenever you can, keep it at full health. Now the game is kind of reset because we're only looking at a 2k lead now.
Yep.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So right now, ADROIT is slightly back in control again. They've gotten a triangle for themselves. Doom is up, War is up.
All they need now is to get a Roche for themselves. Because so far, I think Neon managed to get the first Roche. If they could turn it around and give that Aegis to Natsume, even onto even onto Doom, right? Doom will at least be able to go first. If he dies instantly, he's got the Aegis to come back. He can cast that Doom afterwards. There's a lot of options that they could sort of do.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me is that their Roshan damage is really not that amazing. They have to find a pick off first for them to charge right into the Roshan.
Aww.
Oh, that's a very nice face.
Well, if you're having a bad
What is he
day,
holding though? The green thing?
I think it's just an orb. A radiant orb. It's green. Oh, refresher.
Oh, it's a refresher shot. Interesting. Yeah, Doom can definitely use that.
I thought refresher would look nicer than this. Just saying. I didn't say anything. Anyways.
Seems like they're back up again.
I think this will be called the refresher chip.
Refresher chip.
Yeah, it's just a little chip of the refresher orb. I was expecting refresher to just look like this big magnificent orb, and then it's just... It's a marble.
small.
It's a marble. Refresher marble. It looks like we've got some internet issues here, folks, so please bear with us as the players get this sorted. The last thing you want is to engage into a team fight with any kind of ping issues.
Alright, MKB is up for PL. This is one big good news for them, and also Dong has just completed his BKB as well, so no more instantly killing the Darksteel before a team fight. I think with this BKB, he's always going to be ensuring himself to pull out a wall, just that the wall might not be as perfect as he want to be. It all comes down to execution right now.
Yep, but the perfect wall will come soon if the game can last a little bit longer, because he's queued up that blink dagger now. So late game, we're going to have to look at some of these wall positions, especially for Skem. Skem's going to have to be very careful about where the Darkseer is, because he can't afford to walk through that wall too many times, right? If you generate all those illusions, it just kills your own team, and worst thing, you kill yourself.
Yeah, but it's also tough for him, right? Because he has to stand there and hit the tower, so it's very easy to catch him up unless he just throw a bunch of illusions to take down the tower. But right now he has bottled up a D-rune, so this is the time Neon wants to fight. They might do a smoke. Also, ADROIT wants to smoke as well. You saw Boomy instantly buying the smoke. They know that this Roshan is up very soon, and this is gonna be the deal breaker for both of this team.
The deal breaker, and also maybe the game, depending on who's able to get this Aegis. So they're going to constantly have this checked out, but it looks like the big boy, he's ready.
Oh, Radiance is gonna be Doom's next choice. That's interesting.
So what are your thoughts on that Radiance? Like, what's that supposed to do? Is it the mischance that they're aiming for? The Radiance?
Yeah, I think he knows that his Doom on TV is not going to be very effective because of all the stated resistance the TV has. So if you can't kill him, just mess with the illusion then.
Who's a secondary target that you might want to look to Doom? Like, would you want to do maybe someone like Rappy or even the Tiny?
Yeah, at this point, I think you have to recognize the impact that Rappy has to the team as well. I think either Doom or the either Ember Spirit or the Pugna will be a good target for them.
Alright, we'll see if he's able to get these Dooms off, but in the meantime we have a smoke gank here from Neon. Heading up toward that top lane, also putting some wards down to see if they can spot anyone, but if you take a look at ADROIT's position, they're all gripped up mid, and it looks like they might want to go for a smoke themselves.
Look at the tier 4 item that TV has, Illusion Escape.
Oh dear.
This has to be the best tier 4 items for a TV to get.
Alright, let's go. We're going in with the Doom, just trying to clear out those illusions for now. You will know that the Tiny's nearby with that toss.
Doom has a Princess Knife, so that's pretty good for him. Instantly with a blink, going in with blink hacks, BKB on Boomy as well. So all the big items are already up for the side of ADROIT.
We've got a smoke, and they might run into that Tiny. Looks like he's going to head back into the river. Do they have vision of play hard? It looks like they don't.
Scam with the DD.
Yopaj, he's still up top. They just need to hit him once. Oh, he gets out with the Remnant. They didn't have vision. So it's going to be a waste of smoke, unfortunately. And we have got a Skadi picked up onto Yopaj, so he's actually just building tanky. He's going for Radiance next too. So lots of area of effect damage. You've got the slow from the from the Shiva's Guard, and then you've also got the potential burn from that Radiance. So it looks like it's going to be a battle Radiant versus Radiance, the burn versus burn.
Illusion versus Illusion.
That too. Oh dear.
Yeah, it all comes down to execution right now. It doesn't matter who has the better draft, doesn't matter who has the better heroes. It all comes down to who has a better initiation.
And that's probably where I think in particular, a lot of people are going to be looking to Bok when it comes to initiation. His walls have been really impactful. When he gets the really good walls as well, you can see that it really tips the team fights in their favor.
Yeah, he has the money for Dagger right now, but he really wants the buyback.
Yeah.
Then we need to make sure they have extra buybacks for this Roshan fight.
They're all grouped up. You can see how scared they are, right? They're all grouped up. They don't really want to separate. And looks like the Skadi is completed on that turbo. Backing wall! Onto the high ground! Oh, Bucky legend! He will be able to get down though. Skem's trying to run away. He is silenced up. There's the meta. He's down to half, but they're still there with Broomy trying to cause some chaos onto that Terrorblade in the backlines. They've got the Yules off onto that Tiny. Looks like the Earth Spirit has gone down. BKB was used onto Boss. Unfortunately, he's going to try and surge himself out. He will get caught with those chains and chopped down by Dopage. And now we've got the Doom being chased up by this Terrorblade and Emperor Spirit. This is not the fight you were looking for as ADROIT. And Natsume all alone. This PL, he's the only one that could have turned this around, but by himself there's just no way he can salvage this fight. Still on the retreat, gonna try and get them confused with all those illusions, but they're gonna figure out which is real. They've got so much wave clear. Oh, they're gonna charge around.
He's juking. He is juking.
Yeah, he's juking.
Oh, not really actually.
He probably just knows he's dead by now.
Yeah, no matter what he does, I think he's dead for sure there. It looks like a very good initiation from Bot, but somehow Scam got down. And
The
then
Manta?
I think so, or maybe it is just a 4-star from his teammate. But the wall was completely wasted because after he walks out, he gets down from the cliff. There's no way the wall can catch him anymore. So Scam just stood there and just output damage. Then no one could stop him. I think one thing ADROIT has to do is to stay. Another way of dealing with the Terrorblade is that you isolate him. You just want to run away from him. And right now, without the mana for Morpheus, it's hard for them to take the team fight. So ADROIT is forcing a Roshan right now.
Natsume with balls of steel, gonna try and go for this Roche. They do have the wall available now, of course, fighting into the
came out.
Roche bit. Oh, looks like they will be able to get him out. Glimpse, ooh, gonna some to safety there. That's not the glimpse that you're looking for. Look at all those PL illusions now. We do know for the fact that PL is a nightmare to deal with because of that mana burn. And a lot of those heroes are vulnerable if they don't have mana. Vacuum wall! The biggest wall! Is this gonna be what turns the team fight around? They're trying to get away with that Pugna Rappies. They've got the 4-stuff available. And then he's still in the front lines fighting that Terrorblade all alone. What can you do? 4-stuff out that Darkseid Surge as well. But it looks like this fight also just wasn't enough. They didn't have the damage. They had the wall. They had the vacuum. But they just didn't have the follow-up, the toss-back as well. Still surging away. He wants to get out of here. Look at the PL though. Nothing is still in this fight. They're coming in there with as well. They have the lockdown for Scam. Manta is there. They've got so many illusions. You can't even tell who's doing what right now. Natsume goes down. The PL is dead. 120 seconds off the board. Another toss in. Bok is dead as well. Anyone alive was CML. They just...
What a boss, Scam.
Oh my goodness.
All the time he was just standing there, dealing damage. There's no touch him because of his build.
He doesn't care. He's so dang fat.
He doesn't care.
And he's got Divine Rapier as well.
Divine Rapier, Radiance are up for Emperor Spirit as well, and there's no buyback from all 3 cores of ADROIT. I think this might be game.
Yeah, it looks like it might be it too. They're going to lose these towers so quickly with that, with the Divine Rapier. So look at Scam, meta's up, clears out the towers. The glyph is there though, so we'll buy a little bit of time, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Scam he's manning up, just going for the Divine Rapier because he knows that there's no buyback anyways. I'm really loving Scam. I feel like every time I look at him, right, I feel like there's a little bit of eternal envy inside of him. Because obviously they played before, and then ever since that, Scam just looks like a crazier player ever since.
He's a changed man.
He's a changed man under the influence of the best Dota player ever.
Best Dota player ever. Oh goodness. But the influence is definitely there.
thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. Temptation within, mistakes ignite the silence. Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Esports.